and not listening was probably one of the things that hurt me. But later on, I tried to do the right thing, got involved in real estate, got a bunch of property, but none of us knew that bubble was going to hit in 2009, 2007, and it completely, just decimated me. I mean, I'm thinking real estate, I'm going to pass this down to generations, my kids, and I just didn't know. I tried to hold on to property for 4 years. You start dipping into savings, you're trying to hold on, and I just didn't know. And then therein lies the crippling to your credit, which is another thing that I've learned now. That I've been working with a very bright young man who's helped me learn about credit and helping our people, get living trust, a will. As great as the things Nipsey Hussle was doing, he didn't have a will or a trust at all. He didn't have any of those things. Prince, nothing. Aretha Franklin, nothing. So that has been my mission, to help our people be educated in a living trust, an irrevocable trust, a will. All of those things are very, very important. So I've learned those, and now I've implemented that into my life and rebuilding and helping people, because that's where, that's, like you guys said, we have to share and educate.
Yeah, that's good. And I know you'll talk a little bit about that, Kofo, but you are building your life around helping other people build financial wellness, right? What's your personal mission? Why is building financial wellness for yourself and for others, and primarily for the Black community, important to you?
So the reason that that's important to me is because I am Nigerian. I was born in Nigeria, came to America when I was 2, and I went back there for high school. And then I came back here for university or college, and I studied sciences in high school. And I looked around, and I didn't want to be an engineer. And I didn't want to be a doctor, and I didn't want to be a lawyer. And if you know any Nigerians, those are the 3 careers that you can have that are acceptable in your family. And I'm the only child, so it's like one of the 3, that's it. But for me, it was
talk to your parents still? I mean, they okay with you?
I'm kidding. My mom is still kind of like, but they've seen the impact that I've made. But for me, it's always been about following my purpose and my passion, and it was helping people. And I don't like blood, and I don't like sick people, so the medical route wasn't gonna happen. But I looked up and I've seen people who are successful, who are the doctors, the lawyers, the engineers, and have made so much money and have nothing to show for it. Right? My best friend's in medical school. Her mom is like, so when you graduate, you're sending me money. And that's the reality for a lot of us. And I wanted it to be different. I wanted to know that I can help my people, because there's nobody that looks like us that's doing it. So we are in these good jobs. We have the work ethic. We have the dreams. We have the passion. But for some reason, at the end of the day, we have nothing. And I wanted to be that person that can say, hey, no, it could be different. This is how you need to do it. You can trust me.
Speaking of that, like, what 3 things would you tell a person that they needed to do to start building wealth?
The first thing would be getting educated from the right sources is a really big thing. And I think that we find education in social media and music and celebrity. It's not always the right type of education. So it's seeking education from credible sources. It's seeking professional help. The same way that you go to a doctor to get a checkup and you don't go on WebMD like I do sometimes, you should seek a professional who understands you, who knows your situation, who can tell you these are the things you need to do. And the third thing to build wealth, I would say, is understand yourself. Understand why you spend money the way that you do. Understand why it is that you view money the way that you view it. And a lot of times it comes from our parents. It comes from what we've seen, right? Oh, I didn't have it, so now I want to flaunt it. Oh, my parents always spent it, so I'm always going to spend it. When you can understand yourself, you can make a difference.
I mean, I agree. Again, I totally agree.
How does your view of money then differ from the view of money you have now?
Gosh, I think then I just thought it was never going to end. I just thought like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make this money every year. I was the first in my family to go to college and the first millionaire in my family. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's gonna be like that all the time. And then now you realize, as you get older, you have to really take advantage of the opportunities you have and build on those, because you just don't know how much time you have, especially in this business, because if you're not hot, they overlook you. If you're not, you have 2 million followers, they're not paying attention.
They're buying them, I'm telling you.
Yes, yeah. But the sad thing is, people look at that and don't understand the algorithm that, if you have 2 million followers and you can't sell out a $20 t-shirt, something's wrong. Less than 1% is actually, people just want to sit there and go like this, look, and that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, now I value it even more so because my children are getting older. My daughter was she just turned 18. Lord. And
She is beautiful.
thank you. And so we had money for her in a Coogan account where she couldn't touch. And then we have some other money for her when she gets 21, because I don't really think she's ready for her big money now. So we have
Don't give it to her.
Yeah, 2 accounts set up, and teaching my son. But the boys, it's tough getting these young black boys, because it's about what you're wearing, your swag, and video games. I bought Robert Kiyosaki books. I'm like, you gotta read, you have to read. He's like, all right, okay. And I told him, I said, I don't want you to learn the way I learned. And you have a head start. You have a father in your life. I didn't have that. So, now I value money and time the same way.
That's good. I'm gonna open it up for any questions. If we have any questions in the audience, because I may have 1 or 2 more questions. Any questions?
Oh, come on now.
I'm about to say, don't make me call you out, because. Yes.
Okay, so,
Yeah, we good.
okay, I don't need that microphone. My question is directly to Flex, because you are married to, I'm sorry. My question is for Flex, because you are married to an entertainment mogul in the entertainment industry, specifically around the fact that I hate that Chris Brown don't make his own music anymore. And how do you feel about that? How do you feel about the song? Because every time I hear it, it makes me angry. Just me.
It makes us very happy.
Right, I love it.
Because she wrote the song.
I understand, that's what I want you to speak to, because I've been explaining that to my children.
Right.
I don't like to hear it, but I understand the other side of it.
That's an extra stream of income, but that's the great thing about my wife did. She wrote a lot of her songs. She didn't write the entire song. She had a percentage of it, but you realize publishing is what you can pass down in generations. You know what I mean? So songs she's written on, and now they passed a law that even songs that she performed on, but she just sang backgrounds. A lot of people don't know she did backgrounds for Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, and all those things. So all of that you can pass down. So with that, I think it's a great thing when these younger artists do remakes or they add something in there. I think it's great. I don't look at it as, man, what they do, they messing up the song. I look at it as they're continuing the legacy. And it's great for her, definitely, but I think it's great for music and our music in general. You look at the Motown era, some artists are using Motown songs now. Smokey Robinson just did a song with Anderson .Paak, and it's an amazing song. And that synergy would not have happened had there been discord, or he would have looked at it like, these young folks trying to Smokey is like, no, baby, it's okay. I'll sing on the song. Put me in a song, baby. It's okay. So I think what you're saying is because I start sounding like my grandmother when I'm in the car and the kids are listening to the mumble rap, and I'm like, y'all don't know about no music, and trying to give them real songs. That's great, but at the end of the day, it is a stream and a source of income that can continue to be passed down.
So I have a soon-to-be 15-year-old son and a 7-year-old daughter. My question is, were there some particular hands-on experiences that you gave your children? Like I know you said they have an account, but did you take them to the bank, or did you have them, practice spending their money?
Oh yes, yes. And the tough one is my daughter, because my son he's really good with money. He will hold on. He's understanding the principles of holding. He has his coupon account, but I still do old school. He got mattress money. So he has his money he saves, and there's an account that I control. I can see everything they spend, and it's called current, and then I can give them money and stuff like that. So I've been teaching him about money. I sat down and I let him see what mortgages, and I let him see what Edison is. That's our electricity, water. I lay it all out, and then he shows his list of what he wants. Sneakers, $275 for some SpongeBob, Kyrie Irvings. I said, let me sit down here and put this here. I said, man, you see this? That's $275. You see that water bill? That's about $220. What's more important to your life? Rocking these sneakers or having some water to wash your behind? And heat up for food and stuff like that. And at first he was a little like, nah, but he starts to get it. My daughter, on the other hand, she's the little sneaky one, because she'll have money.
Biased.
She'll have money that I don't know she has. We can spend. She wants us to spend our money, but she won't touch her money. I'm like, oh, okay, I see your game. Yeah, you see, I see a little Virgo. I'm like, okay, I see you. Okay. But they're learning more. I did take her to the bank. She just got her, because now 2020 in January, you're gonna have to get a real ID from the DMV. So she just applied for that, and in a week she'll have it, and then she can legally, open the account, get checks, and all that stuff. So I've been teaching him and showing them the right things to do.
That's good stuff. One last question.
So knowing that African Americans have a higher propensity to buy life insurance, yet they're still underinsured, what role does life insurance have in building a legacy, particularly intergenerational legacy?
Can both of you guys answer that?
Yes.
From your perspective.
I can answer that from my perspective and from personal experience with it. It plays a huge role. Part of the reason that I love what I do and I have such a purpose for it is because in my first year in this business at 21, I had to deliver a life insurance check. And it wasn't to some random person. It was to somebody who was close to me. I was at his wedding. I was at his baby's baby shower. He was 32 at the time. His wife was 27. His baby was 9 months old. And he trusted me enough I said, this is your need. Because I went through his goals, I went through what was important. I said, this is how much you need to get. And it seemed like a lot, but when you break it down, it's not that much. This is what you wanted to cover. He said, okay, Kofo, I trust you. It's just another Gucci belt. I said, yeah, it is. What I didn't know was that the day after he got covered, literally 24 hours later, I get a phone call from his cousin that he was killed in a car accident, drunk driver. 24 hours after he was in my office. And it's been 2.5 years. And when I look at his daughter till date, and I look at his wife, his daughter's college is paid for. His wife isn't financially suffering. She's still having to work, but there are things that are set up. But that girl's life, that she will probably never remember her father, but she will know what he did for her. She will know that he loved her enough to plan for something that he never thought was, I didn't think it was gonna happen, right? And it did. And their destiny is changed because of that one thing. And when she gets old enough, she's gonna have something, right? Because her mom has something now, and so that one conversation, that one thing, life insurance, it made a difference, not just for his life, my life, his family's life, because they see that, oh, he did something. And his daughter, who is 2, she doesn't even know what she has, but she'll remember him. That's his legacy.
Yeah, I mean, again, as I have been working with this young man and learning more about life insurance and irrevocable trusts and all these things, because a lot of people don't understand. You get a will, that's great, but if something happens or when something happens, it'll go to probate. And that's what's happening with Aretha Franklin. She'll be in probate for about 4 years. Prince, about 3 years. Nipsey, same thing. And learning the differences, you know, what does what for you. And there's a whole, you know, a whole nother lane where, you know, you have medical directive. So that if you get incapacitated, you say, hey, don't do this, because what's happening in a lot of these hospitals, they're getting these people to sign stuff away, and they don't know. You know, they don't know because they're like, you know, we're gonna take them organs, we're gonna do this, that. And these are all things that are important, especially to us, because black folks don't like to talk about it. You know, it's unfortunate what happened to her friend, but a lot of us think like that. Man, if I get life insurance, that means, you know, if I sign a will, I'm marking myself. It's like, no, you're being smart. That's how everyone else, every other culture brings wealth to their family. They pass it down. Majority of the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the J.P. Morgans, they all put their stuff in trusts. And those trusts, they pass them down for generations. And they're still wealthy today.
That is good stuff. That is good stuff. My last question, what does legacy mean to you?
Just being able to leave a mark and peace on your family.
To me, legacy is the impact that you have on your world, the people that are around you. It's so much more than the things that you leave behind, but what is the imprint that you made on these people's lives? That's your legacy.
Thank you. Can you guys get the room? Would you like to say any words, or are we closing this out?
Everybody have a breathe.
Okay, so now we're going to pause because I do want to go out and take pictures with you guys, but some